Good morning, everyone. I've been wanting to make this video because I've been getting hit up a lot from the group, people asking me about, how I'm automating most of the process and working the leads in a very efficient way to figure out who qualifies, who doesn't, who do I need to send a credit repair, that sort of stuff, and what applications I have. So I came up with a very simple way to kind of automate this at a very low cost way. And I just wanted to share exactly how that whole thing works so I can give you guys some ideas as far as helping you guys work through this instead of individually sending messages and things like that. So let me just give you a quick overview of just how I set this whole thing up, right? And so if you look at this here, in fact, I'm going to take this off of full screen. The first thing obviously is the Facebook ad, right? So the person clicks on the ad, and then from there they're going to go to your landing page, right? Your landing page is going to have your website, your form, and once they fill out the details on that form, right, they're going to go to a thank you page. And that's pretty much it at that point, right? So from Facebook ad to landing page to thank you page. Now, I'm going to keep going through this just to kind of give you an overview, and then I'll go into detail about all this sort of stuff. Then at that point, I send them one email automatically that lets them know that someone's going to get in contact with them, as well as introduces myself, who I am, and what I need from them, which is their bank statements, and then also the application. So all of that is already in email number one. They also get a text message immediately letting them know, hey, someone's going to give them a call within the normal business hours. And then normal business hours, I then pick up the phone and I give them a call, right? Then at that point, they're also going to get some email follow-ups as well to the people that have actually put their information in. So I've set up an email funnel, about 2 to 11 messages that pretty much follows up for them for about 30 days. And so far from what I'm seeing, I'm seeing really good results where people, calling, let's say if I give them a phone call, they'll end up sending their application in and their bank statements just via this follow-up email. So it's definitely worth doing that. Then I also have like a voice broadcast. I'll explain that in a few minutes. And then also I'm doing some calling. So that's kind of the overview of the funnel here, right? It's just basically whenever the lead comes in, doing some follow-up immediately, and then following up after the call. So let me go a little bit more in detail here. So when they land on this thank you page, the first thing that I've done is put together a tripwire. Marketing talk tripwire means basically the first offer where I'm going to present an offer to them on the thank you page, hopefully to try to monetize these leads. From what I've learned from some of the training with Phil, obviously, and I've learned this in other marketing, the whole goal is to try to offset your marketing costs with some kind of offer, so that way you can essentially advertise either breaking even or possibly making a profit. Most people actually do it at a loss, but it's at a slight loss. So let's say, for example, from your ad to your landing page to your thank you page, it costs you $3, right, to produce a lead. But if you have a tripwire offer that possibly can make you anywhere from $3 to $30, then you could start to use that money to pretty much offset your advertising dollars. So in a sense, depending on how you optimize it, you could either be breaking even, you could either be losing just slightly, so instead of paying $3 per lead, you're paying $2 per lead, or you're actually making a profit. That's my goal. I want to actually make a profit, even if it's an extra $10 on the leads. Then I want to be able to, let's say, advertise essentially for free. Then I could really grow this really great. So the first tripwire offer that we have set up in our funnel is on the thank you page, it says, hey, thank you so much, we've received your information. Here's the last step. Before you speak to a funding advisor, be sure to get your credit scores and your credit report for free. And then they basically would, if they click on the link, it gets sent to an offer where then they can sign up. And if they sign up, then the offer that we have set up, they pay us $35 for someone who signs up. So what I'm seeing so far is about maybe 1 to 2 out of 80, 2 out of 90 are filling that out. So that's pretty good. I could live with that. So be sure to kind of, do some research and find out what kind of, and there's tons of different websites and things like that that will show you where these tripwires are. In fact, one of them is called Offer Vault. If you go to offervault.com and you put in credit repair, you're going to see tons of different offers that you can essentially put into this place right here so that you can start to monetize your leads. So again, that's the basic overview of that, right? Facebook landing page, they get exposed to your tripwire. Then what I've done is also put the tripwire in email number 1. And the way I framed that was, hey, thanks so much, we got your information, I'm looking forward to getting you funded, right? And then I say something along the lines of like, please note that although you don't need a required credit score to get a loan, right? But it does increase your options, your funding options, so be sure to get the most updated credit score and report. So you can do that by clicking here, and then I send them exactly to that same place, which is the link to the offer where they're going to get your credit scores and that sort of stuff, right? So I'm really working hard to kind of try to offset the cost of the leads, because from what I'm understanding here, and of course this is just marketing 101, if you can offset your marketing costs, then when you're going to scale and you're spending $100 to $1,000 a day, you're not necessarily spending $1,000 a day because you're making money on the first offer, right? So great. So then we do that. So then the text message is pretty self-explanatory. That's just an immediate message that goes out. And then during normal business hours, I pick up the phone and I call. Now here's the cool thing about the phone calls that I've noticed. So most of the time you get voicemail, right? So I leave one personal voicemail for everyone. Every single person, I feel like I can pick up the phone and do a quick 1-minute phone call. What I'm finding is when I send a voicemail, right, a personal voicemail, what happens then is then my email follow-up, I'm getting people to then respond and send me their application and their bank statements without me ever speaking to them. What I'm gathering is that obviously once they get the email, they get the text message, and then they get the phone call, they're going, okay, this is legit, this is worth at least entertaining, and that's what I'm seeing with the email, whether it's email number 2, email number 3, or 4, within the first 2 or 3 emails that I send out, which could be 7 days later or 14 days later, whatever, they're actually sending me applications, which is pretty cool. So that means that when I'm having thousands of leads going through here, I'll be able to get applications pretty much on autopilot, which is pretty cool, because then I can just send that off to try to get a loan for them. So then what I do with the voice cast, so that's the immediate offer on that side again, and then in email number 1 I also have the tripwire. So I pitch that, and then I also add the tripwire in emails number 2, 3, and I kind of spread it in to see if I can actually continue to monetize the front of the leads. Right? I do voice casts. What I do with voice casts is I don't send it to everyone. What I do with voice casts is as people that I've made contact with, that maybe I spoke on the phone with, that were interested, that said they were going to show me they'll send me their application. I have some kind of physical contact with them in some way, shape, or form. I start using voice casts to say, hey, I sent a voice cast saying something along the lines of, hey, are you still needing funding for your company? Give me a call. I'm here to help you. And I'm sending that every 7 days. And what I'm finding is that it creates people calling me back, which is nice, because then I can start getting busy on the phone with people that I've talked to before. So it moves them down the path of trying to either get a loan for them or send them to credit repair, right? So so that's working really, really great. And then of course I'm calling people that I'm talking to that are very interested, that seem very interested. So not as much calling there, but again, as the leads start going through the funnel with more volume, I'll be getting pretty busy in this section as well. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to go over now to the next slide here, which are some of the tools that you're going to need to put this together. Now there's all kinds of tools out there. I use a couple of basic tools here to kind of keep the costs down at the front end, because the whole goal is here to try to recoup some of your marketing costs, your investment in the business, that sort of stuff, and then be able to grow from there. So here's what I recommend as far as the tools. So when the lead comes in, right, what I want to do is I want to basically have all of that kind of working on the back end so that when I wake up in the morning, I can look at my CRM system, and there's tons of different CRMs out there. A CRM is a customer relationship management system or client relationship management system. I use Pipedrive. It helps me stay organized in the selling process, so that way, for example, when a lead comes in, then they automatically get added into my CRM. So when I log in the morning to my CRM on Monday morning, I know exactly who I need to call, right? And then when I make contact with those people, then I move them down the actual pipeline so that I know, okay, I made contact, so I just literally click and drag, put them over here. Then if I get in contact with them through my marketing and I find out that they don't qualify, I move them over here. If I find that they do qualify and they sent me an application, then I basically move them over to this stage. And then once I do that, I send the application over to the lenders. I move them over to the pending apps so that I know every day who I need to follow up with, who I need to call, who I need to call later on, and just stay organized. If the application gets denied, then obviously I move that over, and then I organize my leads in a sense so that I know not to email these people over and over again since the email's declined, and I move them over to a drip campaign where maybe down the road they're going to need funding. Maybe they fix their credit down the road, or maybe their situation changes, or I send them off to credit repair. That's kind of the overview for the Pipedrive. So let me show you how I connect all of this. So basically the lead comes in from the thank you page, right? That information gets sent over to my MailChimp account, right? And then it also gets sent over to my call loop account, which is what I use for text messaging, right? Let me take this out, this is not here. And then it also goes into my CRM, which is my Pipedrive, right? Very simple, very straightforward. So when a lead comes in, they fill out the form, it gets sent to MailChimp, it also gets sent to my call loop, and then from there it gets sent to my CRM, which lands right here in this first stage on my lead, so I know exactly who I need to call. So there's two tools that you're going to need to get this kind of going. With MailChimp, you're basically just going to use their API function, right? The API function allows you to connect MailChimp to any other outside tool, so that way when the lead comes in, MailChimp sends that information to basically wherever you want. So right now the API connection is sending MailChimp the information of the lead over to my list, as well as over to my call loop account, which is how I send text messages. So those two things get populated from the information, and then it's also sending it to my CRM. So I use another tool called Zap or Zapier, and basically what I'm telling Zap is, hey, when a lead comes into MailChimp, right, and they subscribe to MailChimp, what I want you to do is then push that lead into my CRM and add them as a deal, right? So they land here, right? So those are the two little functions that you need. Obviously, if this is a lot of information, but for those of you in the group, there are some that kind of understand these kind of advanced tools. This is basically what I wanted to make for you guys, just so that you guys can see exactly how I'm doing it. But the name of the game is basically trying to move people from one stage to the next in an elegant, efficient process, so that you can start making some deals. Anyway, hope all is good. If you guys have any questions, hopefully I can answer some, and I don't get bombarded with these answers and questions and things like that. But hopefully this kind of gives you a little overview of exactly what you need to build, so that way you can continue to grow your business. All right, thanks so much for watching, and again, I'll talk to you guys in the group later.